Today I want to read to you the book of Matthew, chapter number 23, from verse 1, and if we could reach all the way to 39, it would be good. It's a warning against hypocrisy. And it's not just hypocrisy to believers, it's hypocrisy even to the teachers of the law. It starts by yourself. Then Jesus said to the crowd and to his disciples, the teachers of the law and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. So you must be careful to do everything they tell you, but do not do what they do, for they do not practice what they preach. They tie up heavy cumbersome loads and put them on other people's shoulders, but they themselves are not willing to lift finger to move them. Everything they do is done for people to see. They make their phylacteries white and the tassels of their garments long. They love the place of honor at the banquets and at the most important seats in the synagogues. They love to be greeted with respect in the marketplaces and to be called rabbi by others. But you are not to be called rabbis, for you have all one teacher and you are all brothers. And do not call anyone on earth Father, for you have one Father, and he is in heaven. Nor are you to be called instructors, for you have one instructor, the Messiah. Greatest among you will be your servant. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Jesus was warning his disciples not to conform into the Pharisees' practice or the Sadducees' practice, or to the practice of the teachers of the law. Here we find Jesus telling them that these teachers of the law, they will invent a law and they will impose it to the believers, to the congregants of the church. Just the same way Jesus was warning the church or the people and his disciples then, the same thing he's warning us today. So, after Jesus told his disciples that the humble person will be exalted. That is the Lord, his second coming. Of course, he says the last shall be the first, and the first shall be the last. Because if you exalt yourself, you shall be humble, and if you humble yourself, in God's eyes, he shall exalt you. Just the same way, Jesus humbled himself, and God the Father exalted or glorified him. So, when we reach to verse 13, Jesus gives the 7 woes to the teachers of the law, the Pharisees. And this applies even in today's church. Because these woes, these are the same thing. The same hypocrisy has not changed. This is the same hypocrisy that was there, that still exists today. And that's why you find people saying, I don't go to church because the things that are in church are not all that good. But then again, are you going to church because you want to be seen that you're going to church, or do you go to church to worship? Before you judge the hypocrisy of someone, even you yourself, judge yourself. Don't just see the log in the church. Even you yourself, see the speck in your eye. Because as much as we're saying too many hypocrites in the church, you must understand, hypocrisy is a sin. And the same way hypocrisy is a sin, even you yourself, you are a sinner. And the same way you go on your knees and ask God to forgive your sins, the same way that hypocrite goes on his knees and asks for forgiveness. But here from verse 13 all the way to 29, Jesus gives the teachers of the law and laws. And it goes from 13. Woe unto you, teachers of the law and the Pharisees, you hypocrites! You shut the door of the kingdom of heaven in the people's faces. You yourselves do not enter, nor will you let those enter who are trying to. Woe to you, teachers of the law and the Pharisees, you hypocrites! You travel all over the land and sea to win a single convert, and when you have succeeded, you make them twice as much a child of hell as you are. Woe to you, blind guides! You say, if anyone swears by the temple, it means nothing. But if anyone who swears by the gold of the temple is bound by the oath. You blind fools! Which is greater, the gold or the temple that makes the gold sacred? We also say, if anyone swears by the altar, it means nothing. But anyone who swears by the gift of the altar is bound by the oath. You blind men! Which is greater, the gift or the altar that makes the gift sacred? Therefore, anyone who swears by the altar swears by it and by anything on it. And anyone who swears by the temple swears by it and by the one who dwells in it. And anyone who swears by heaven swears by God's throne and by the one who sits on it. So, these are already three woes. So we continue. Woe to the teachers of the law and the Pharisees, you hypocrites! You give a tenth of the spice, mint, dill, and cumin. But you, woe unto you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You give a tenth of your spices, mint, dill, and cumin. But you have neglected the more important matter of the law: justice, mercy, and faithfulness. You should have practiced the latter without neglecting the former. You blind guides, you strain out a gnat and swallow a camel. Woe unto you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You clean the outside of the cup and dish, but inside they are full of greed and selfish indulgence. Blind Pharisees, first clean the inside of the cup and the dish, then the outside will also appear clean. Woe unto you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside they are full of bones of the dead and everything unclean. In the same way, on the outside you appear to people as righteous, but on the inside you are full of hypocrisy and wickedness. Woe unto you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You build tombs of the prophets and decorate the graves of the righteous, and say, if we had lived in the days of our ancestors, we would have not taken part with them in the shedding of blood of the prophets. So you testify against yourselves that you are descendants of those who murdered the prophets. Go ahead then and complete what your ancestors started. You snakes, you brood of vipers, how will you escape being condemned to hell? Therefore I am sending you prophets and sages and teachers. Some of them you will kill and crucify, others you will flog in your synagogues and pursue from town to town, and so upon you will come all the righteous blood that has been shed on earth, from the blood of the righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah, son of Berechiah, whom you murdered between the temple and the altar. Truly I tell you, all this will come upon this generation. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you who kill the prophets and stone those sent to you, How often have I longed to gather you children together, as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, and you are not willing. Look, your house is left to you desolate. For I tell you, you will not see me again until you say, Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord.